boys and girls. It is time once again for the Guys Weekend podcast. I am Josh Tenney, along with, as always, beautiful on the outside, sometimes not inside. Not that I know what his insides look like. That's illegal in most states. Brandon Park.
Yes, we're back. After the Easter shenanigans. Yeah. How was your Easter?
It was all right. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean it was hungover a little bit, but it was Huey's 7th birthday on that Saturday. And we strung up decorations. So Tice was in charge of like putting together the banner. And as we're sitting there, Tabby's freaking out because she's trying to get everything, set up and yada, yada, yada. So I look at Tice and we're just kind of like, we should spell it wrong. Just see if she notices. So we left an H out of birthday and we hung it right on the bar. And I don't know, the party went on for like 4 hours. And after everybody started to leave, I'm like, Tabby, you've made it exactly 4 hours and you haven't noticed anything wrong. So she's looking around at like the balloons, like we drew dicks on them or something like that. Or, like we hid something somewhere. And she's staring at the sign and she goes, well, everything looks okay. And I'm like, oh. She goes, oh, you spelled happy wrong. And I'm like, no, Happy. She's looking, she goes, well, I don't see anything wrong. And I'm like, there's no H. It says happy birt-day. And it's kind of a play on words since it's Burt's birthday. She goes, oh, yeah, I never would have noticed that. I'm like, yeah, we know. that's why we did it. So that was fun. And then,
every time Tabby has a fail like that, I want the failure jingle from like The Price is Right to play.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, that would go off all the time. So bad. And then we proceeded to drink more beer, and we had a Super Smash Bros. Tournament. Burt won the first one, and I absolutely whooped his little ass on the second one. And he was all
because he probably started talking shit after that.
Oh, listen, his head couldn't have gotten any bigger. I'm like, listen, man, you can walk around and talk all the smack you want. I'm like, but it's going to come down to you and I. And you got to remember, I've been drinking all day. And I said, and if I beat you, I'm not going to let you live this down. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be all up in your face. He's like, yeah, whatever. You want to talk that smack? Whatever. I'll smack you. I'm like, oh, okay, run it. Came down to him and I. And as soon, like I did like the no look finisher and just set the controller down. And I got right down next to his ear. And I just unloaded. Yeah, all up in his business. And he's crying, running to Tabby. Tabby's like, stop it, you're being mean. I'm like, oh, well, where was this when he was running around being a little asshole, talking all this smack to everybody at the party? Oh, okay. I said, listen, if he's going to learn to win, he's going to learn to lose. And you just got to take it in stride. And he's like, I want to go home. Uncle Brandon cheated. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I cheated. Is that going to be your excuse when you lose at everything? Gomer. So then he went inside and went to sleep. Tice showed back up, hammered. Magoo got out the power tools, cut down a tree in the backyard. After burning the Christmas tree, which was awesome, we still think about whether or not it would have been a good thing for the couch to catch on fire. Because then I would have had to have gotten a new one, which I've scoped out a few decent ones. Leather. One of them came with a recliner. One of them had a Chase lounge. I'm like, man, this is almost too nice for the backyard. Maggie's like, well, I don't think we need another couch. I'm like, well, you wanted rid of this one. I'm like, now the dogs are fucking scratching on it and they're ripping open everything and there's stuffing everywhere. And I'm like, we got to get a new couch. So I'm on the prowl on trash days across North Canton, anywhere I can find one. And I'm just going to pick it up and throw it in the truck. And one of these days she's going to come back out there and it's just going to be a new one.
Brandon randomly driving around with an empty trailer.
Yeah, Sanford and Son style.
Just
ready.
in case.
Just in
case.
We rode Groms yesterday since the weather was absolutely beautiful. Man, we rode for like 70 miles, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but man, oh man, it's like I drank 12 Bud Lights. My ass hurt so bad. It was just terrible. I seen so many cool couches while we were out driving around. I'm like, oh man, if I only had my truck, this would be great. They were, some of them were down in the hood. I'm like, probably don't want to bring back anything gross. Oh, and then remember me telling you about the rocks at the top of my hill?
Yeah.
And I thought the township did it. Turns out we were changing the oil and everything in the Grom, so we're out in the driveway. And the neighbor across the street pulls up with a boat, and he just like throws his car in park and hops out and comes like storming over in the driveway. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. He's like, hey man, let me talk to you. I just want to be straight with you. And I'm like, okay. So I thought he had seen me pour my entire pan of oil down P Hill. I thought he was gonna say something about that, but he didn't see that, so fuck him. So he's like, I don't know who moved those rocks up there at the top of the hill, but I'm the one that put them there. I'm like, okay. Why? He's like, well, I've had a car in my yard that drove down your hill and through 2 other yards and ended up in my driveway. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to let you know that, leaving that up there and leaving that open like that, that's a lot of hoodlums, a lot of traffic in here and things we don't want. The neighbors walked up on people having sex in his backyard and he's found a bunch of dirty needles and, and there's cars and driveways at like 2, 3 in the morning. He goes, there's a lot of things that happen in the middle of the night that you're not aware of. I'm like, okay. He's like, so I put the rocks there and I moved them back. So whoever moved them, please don't move them again. I don't want to sound like I'm being an asshole or a dick or anything. And I'm like,
okay. Are the rocks on your property?
So technically, I think that's owned by the township. It's just like that hill area is like grayed out on my thing. If it was on my property, I would have told him to beat feet and get the fuck out of the driveway. But I've never seen none of the neighbors
anybody doing needles. You seen anybody using needles on your?
No, and
like in that
I've never seen any other vehicle come down that hill other than one of ours.
Like I think it's so many words he's talking about. He's saying you're the hoodlums.
Yeah. He's like, I get it. You guys are young and you like to party and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, how about you stay on your side of the fucking road? I just wanted to keep it nice. He starts some shit again. He's like, I don't know. I'm as manly as they come, So when I see headlights at, 3, 4 in the morning, and, I'm going to run outside and I'm going to shoot somebody. And I'm like, oh, tread carefully there, bud. You're fucking with the wrong ones when it comes to that. He's like, we can't have the hoodlums. They're running from the cops and everything. And I'm like, if you were running from the cop, first of all, I've seen one car successfully make it up that hill, and it took 3 tries, and it was a Subaru Outback. There is no way in hell some drunk from Nathan's is flying down over that hill at 4 in the morning through 3 backyards, across the street into your driveway, and hiding from the cops. I think you're fucking delusional. He's like, well, I moved the rocks back, and I didn't realize that you probably had it there so you guys could ride your bikes down there. So if you want to go ahead and make a path, I'm like, oh yeah, we will. I'm just gonna move the rocks again. Fuck them. Well, you keep moving them back, dude. What do you want to do? Call the cops because we're outside partying? Go ahead. We'll be in bed by the time the cops show up. Don't be a dick. Personally, I want to take my truck and see if I can just climb over the rocks as it is, because they're not like huge. Just go around them. It's just the fact of the matter, like, why? What was bugging you so bad? So I think this dude's a little noited out. I think he may be one of those guys that he lives alone. You don't really see him often. He leaves really early in the morning, comes back real late at night, or he doesn't leave the house at all. He's got like 2 dogs, and he just does weird shit. So I think he might be a little off.
One of my in-laws neighbors are like that.
He kind of reminds me of a more social Mike French.
This guy he sits on the corner of the main road. So he sits on the corner of my in-laws road and then the main road that goes up toward up through the main part of town.
Yeah.
And he's sitting out in his front yard with a fucking AR, just sitting in a plastic lawn chair, holding it like this, like
Gran Torino style. I like it.
Yeah, like you kind of can't do that, but hey,
yeah,
you
shit.
know, they had to take him away for a few months because he was getting belligerent and stuff like that. Like he was, it's not even the fact that he was like holding it; he was like pointing it.
Oh yeah,
while people are driving by, you know.
Yeah, you can't do that. If it was just like there with you, that would have been all right. But yikes! So now I'm thinking too, like the neighbors over here, they have a myriad of cars, like all the time. Like let's hold on. Okay, it is 10 a.m. There are 2 cars in their driveway and 1 in their fenced-in area. This morning when I took a leak at 7:30, there were 5 cars and 2 trailers in this driveway. So they're obviously out doing something, and they move in the middle of the night. So is it possible that the Ohio Mike French is seeing the neighbors do these things? Because the neighbor over here has never said anything to us. They have kids that like to ride their 4-wheelers up and down the hill and into the parking lot and back down, which I told them, I'm like, hey, that's fine. I'm like, you get hurt, you did it on your own time. Like, you ain't coming after me for any of that. And they're like, no, we'll be good. I'm like, all right, cool. So, and same with the other back neighbor. They've got a 4-wheeler. They like to run around back there. He's never said anything about us driving our cars up and down there. He drives his truck around in the backyard and shit. So I think this guy's I think he's got it out for us.
He might.
Which means I'm going to have to
step
it up.
He's probably sick and tired of seeing all your guys ding-dongs hanging out, taking a piss.
That could be too.
Deep-seated homosexuality urges he's got.
Yeah, he's like the gay guy from Ozark.
He drinks Bud Light.
Yeah. So now SDHI is going to just have to step it up, I guess. Bring the noise, baby. If you're going to be the only one that complains, sweet. And that's not even
Mike French is running. If Mike French is running gerbils, what do you think this guy's running?
I was going to say it, but the birds they'll swarm. I don't know. I think it's more of the 2-leg persuasion. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, he seems very overly friendly in that nature. But I don't know. Who knows? It could be gerbils. It could be he's got a couple dogs over there, so he might be one of those guys that puts peanut butter on his balls and lets the dog lick it off.
He goes for the butthole.
Well, yeah. I mean, it probably starts.
He puts it all the way. He puts it all the way up there. Right.
He's got like one of those.
Grundle.
He's got one of those like leather suits where it's just his junk hanging out in his asshole, and he like straps himself to a table and then lets the dogs go nuts, and he just lives in ecstasy for 4 hours until the neighbor comes over and lets him out of his chains or something. I don't know. I've never seen.
He's got a hydraulic pegging machine.
Oh, definitely. He's always over there tinkering with motors and stuff,
like an impact drill.
Yeah, he's going to town. He's got it fucking mounted to the floor, and he just gets on all fours, and it just just gets in there, like one of those big 14-inch or 18-inch rubber fists that you can buy on Amazon. No lube. He lets it go in there right after the dogs lick the peanut butter off it, and just goes to town. And then the whole time he's probably just thinking, those fucking guys across the street. Wish I was cool and could party with them, but I can't. Fuck me harder.
Do you think doing that a lot? Like is your butthole like somebody like gauging your ears?
Like eventually not there's
back. There's different levels. Yeah. Like different levels that you kind of build up to. And also, does it affect the size of the shit that comes out?
I would
Or does it make
say
it just make it slide out easier, like a
probably. So I
well-lubed
think you would
shoe?
just be. You probably, I mean, it's a muscle, right? So as long as the muscle goes back to normal, I would say that it's going to contract. It's probably not just going to stay a gaper for a while. For a day, yeah, maybe. But it probably goes back to normal, I would say. But it probably does make things easier to fall out. You know, he might catch a whistle every once in a while when he's walking, when the wind cuts through it or something. But yeah, you know, I don't know. He might just be one of those guys that likes to sit. Oh, what was the? I seen a workout bike like that, but you basically sat on a dildo, and while you were riding, it worked for you, not against you. He's probably got all kinds of weird shit over there. Or he was like MK Ultra'd and like tested on in the 70s, and now he's just having like really bad fallout.
Is he an older fella?
Yeah, he's probably late 50s, early 60s, mid 60s maybe. He seems like he would fit in at the Eagles. You know, like he's the prime age to be there. I don't know. So we're gonna go move the rocks again, just to see what happens. And maybe we'll just keep moving them, and then I'll get like a trail cam and I'll catch them in the act, and then I'll put it on like the crime pages on Facebook. Did anybody recognize this man?
So we're starting this time of year that I fucking hate.
Yeah.
Lawnmower season. God.
Yeah.
Time for me to be responsible, get out there and cut the grass.
Yep. I planned on it on Thursday, and then again on Friday, and then yesterday. And I already told you what I was doing today, which is absolutely nothing. So I'll get to it this week. You know, it's not getting too bad.
You know me, like I make these plans, but I never like completely prepare for those said plans.
Yeah.
Like, so Thursday I come home from work. I got brake pucks in to replace the brake pads in my riding mower. Went out, got an oil filter and quart of oil to change the oil in it too. Sit down, change the brakes, everything. I do that first, and then I change the oil, right? Mm-hmm. Now I drain the oil, try to loosen up the oil filter.
Yeah.
I can't hand loosen it. I don't have a wrench big enough that I can get over top of that. So I had to go out to Walmart real quick. I bought one of those oil filter vice grips.
Oh yeah.
Came back, got that all situated. By the time I'm done with everything, it's like I started on this thing at like 1:30. By the time I'm done, it's like 6:30, pushing 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, that grass ain't getting cut today.
And
I still have to go in because I thought changing the brake pads would fix the riding mower not breaking, and it's not. So I looked at it again. I took the wheel off again before I put everything away. That the cable is real loose, so I'm gonna have to go take the deck off. That's when I gave up. When I realized that I was gonna have to take that deck off and tighten up, I was like, oh, that's not happening now.
No. Yeah. And like those projects there, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to plan this for Saturday morning. I'm going to get up 8 o'clock. I know I have nothing else to do for 5-6 hours. So if it takes me that long, cool. If not, it'll just stay in pieces. And you know, you get after it. I do need to change the oil on the lawnmower. So maybe I'll do that before I mow. I'm still not at like my service time. So I know the last time I was at the dealership, they were like, hey, don't change it until you've hit your time. And I'm like, okay. I don't understand why that's going to affect anything. I mean,
well, I think it's like 50. I think most mowers are like 50 hours.
I was gonna say this one's 25 hours.
Yeah, I think it's most of them are like 50 hours runtime before you have to change anything. I've had that mower now for this is the third season.
Mm-hmm.
Cut the grass at least every 2 weeks, for, 2 hours a day. So I'm cutting it what eight to 10 times, 8 to 12 times a season.
Yeah,
So I mean,
that's fair.
I'm probably pretty close. I haven't changed it. I know it hasn't been changed since I bought it, so it's about due.
Same. Yeah. So I've got to be close. I mean, it probably only takes me 30 minutes to mow the yard, maybe, unless I'm drinking a beer, and then it takes a little longer. But I don't know. I should probably just change it just for the fuck of it. Just to tidy it up, make it feel better. I changed everything on the Grom, and because my check engine light consistently stays on. So the entire time we rode yesterday for 70 some miles, that check engine light was just staring me right in the eyes. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you, bud, because everything is good. I changed everything, fresh gas, lubed, checked all the fluids, everything.
Do they have something? Do they have like a place where you can like read codes and stuff on there?
Yeah, so it'll blink and give me the code, and then I just looked it up, and it's telling me the same thing. It's the engine oil thermometer, which just so happens to be the piece that got broken in the Grom incident of 2019. And I don't personally feel like spending $239 for the wiring harness just to tear everything apart and put I that is way above my pay grade. I'm not going to attempt to take everything out and replace it. I'm sure it's probably not as bad as it sounds, but that is not something that I want to mess around with. The actual oil thermometer itself is a $20 part that's taken out with a simple wrench. And I'm like, oh, cool. But where mine broke was with the connector itself and the wiring harness. So I'm thinking that maybe something there. So like when you go to fire it up or like cold start it or whatever, it'll like putter and you have to do it a couple times. So I don't know if that's causing it. Before, it wouldn't start when that thing was disconnected. So we just kind of crammed it in there and then taped it up and it worked. So I'm guessing it throws the same code. It's probably just because it's saying the battery has low voltage, which I charged the battery overnight. I double checked it before we left. It was at 100%. I have nothing else on the battery. So I'm thinking it's just throwing this code because that thing's broken and something down there is not connecting, which isn't a big deal to me as long as the thing starts and drives. Cool. It's not overheating. It's something I can live with. I'll just put a piece of tape over it and I don't have to see it anymore. That just makes the problem go away. I'm this close to getting Maggie one though. Honda came out with their Navi, which is just it's basically the scooter version of a Grom. It doesn't have a clutch and it's not a manual transmission. So you just twist and go. The coolest part is out the door price is like $1,800. It's like a third of the Grom. And I'm like, you can ride with us now. No, I'm afraid I'll fall. They're dangerous. I'm like, you could get hit by a car walking. You could wreck your Jeep whenever you have it back and not let somebody else drive it for 6 months. I mean, come out and have fun. Working on it. So we'll see how that all transpires. And also, I finally got a hold of the insurance company. So somebody asked me, like, why don't you just turn your Grom in through insurance and say you like laid it down or whatever? I'm like, well, I'm not trying to have it mess with my insurance. So the insurance for the house, though, I had a guy come out and look at the roof, and he's like, you've got a really good case to get a new roof. He goes, however, your insurance company, they are a pain in the ass to deal with. He goes, but I will fight and do whatever I need to get you a new roof for your house garage for the price of your deductible. And I'm like, sweet. So hopefully, which I thought Maggie saved some money from her winnings, which she cleaned up on at the Eagles. In 2 nights, she hit for like $3,200 on the video slots. I'm like, sweet. Needless to say, she paid for my tab both nights, which wasn't much at all. She bought the entire bar around, including the people in the back playing darts, and it was a total of like $41. And most of the people were drinking liquor. I'm like, man, you really just can't go wrong. It's great. It's great. Magoo has Mondays off starting in another week. So that'll be stand by for terrible videos of him getting absolutely hammered by 6 p.m. It's going to be rough. Listen, that guy, for Burt's birthday, so we walked over to Nathan's at, I don't know, midnight, 1 for our $3 pocket beers. And he's like, hey, man, I'm just going to finish cutting up these logs. And like, he was just on a kick. Like the Magooism kicked in and he was like, hey, I'm here. I'm going to cut down as many of these logs as I can. And he's just so excited. He's like, I need one of the, I'm like, dude, it was like $90 at Home Depot. I'm like, go buy one. I said, I told you needed to open another line of credit. I said, get a Home Depot credit card, go in there and buy you a whole slew of tools and just pay it off. He's like, yeah, I might have to. So after he cuts down the tree, it almost hits the house. They go home and we have Easter at Paps the next day. We get the Easter at Paps. Now it starts at 1 p.m. If you had to guess, Maggie woke up at 10 a.m., 9:30, 10 a.m. What time do you think we arrived at Paps?
What time are you supposed to be there? Starts
1
at
o'clock.
1? 2 o'clock.
Yes. Now, she woke up at 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Had plenty of time.
What time she started getting ready?
Getting 12:30. 12:30, she started to get the 3 dozen, it was more than 3 dozen, deviled eggs ready. I'm like, what are you doing right now? Like, you're supposed to be showering. She's like, I'm like, you just showered yesterday, like last night before you went to bed. Did you shit yourself in the middle of the night or something? Well, I have to shower. And then I'm like, okay. So I turn on some tunes. I'm stuffing the eggs. And I'm like, I don't hear the shower running. At this point, it's 1 o'clock. I'm like, she's like, I know, I'm trying to find something to wear. And I'm like, you already had 3 outfits laid out. I know, I didn't like them. So then she gets into the shower and I'm just sitting there and she's like, I don't know why you're frustrated. Huh? What?
Because we're supposed to be there.
We're already supposed to be there. I should have fucking ham and cheesy potatoes in my stomach right now. But no, here we are, waiting on you to fucking pick out what color black leggings you're going to wear with some random shirt.
What was she doing for the 2.5 hours?
Laying in bed on her phone. And she goes, oh, I really need to get up and get motivated and get ready. I'm like, yeah, you do. Like, I came down the steps dressed and ready to go. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm ready to rock. I showered, showered, and was dressed in 30 minutes. And I did that at like 9:30.
Does it piss you off too when the order is you take a shower and then you have to take a shit?
Oh, yeah, I hold it.
That's like the worst. Yeah, I try to.
I don't want to ruin a good thing.
Yeah. It's like I did all that work for nothing.
Mm-hmm. But then I feel like if I miss my window, like I wait, I'm like, no, I'm going to wait to shower because I know I have to poop. And then it's like it never happens. It's like, fuck. It's like I'm playing mind games with my colon. It's like I just want to get this out of me before I get clean. Or it ever fails that I'll do that. And then like an hour later, I'll crack one off just to realize that I shouldn't have done that. And then I, partly sullied the shower. Yeah, I guess that's life. You win some, you lose some.
I'm a solid. I got a 4-hour time window after a shower before I feel like I feel like it was worth it for me to hold in the shit.
Man, I'll tell you what. I showered Easter morning, and I shit 6 times Easter day after the shower. Once before, 6 more times after. And I'll tell you what, Pap, that man has to have a weathered piece of leather for his asshole because he's still wiping with that 1/16 fucking you can see through tissue paper. Oh my God, it was so bad. Like so bad. Like I got up and I'm like limping and like walking funny, waddling. Maggie's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, it hurts really bad. I got a real bad case of stingray. I'm like, it's hurting. Then I had to shit again. I'm like, this is no fun anymore. I don't want to do this. Then we get down to the in-laws. I yacked in the fucking driveway. Ate 3 pieces of candy before I left. And I'm like, man, that just isn't sitting well. And then Maggie's just whipping through these. They're like, tight turns. driving by your house, basically. It's 20 miles an hour, and she's doing like 35, just screaming Taylor Swift at the top of her lungs. I'm like, I'm going to die on Easter Sunday. Jesus, here I come. Thanks, bro. It's been a fun ride. And she's just whipping back and forth. I'm like, I'm going to throw up. Like, it's coming. Like, I'm trying to breathe. My cheeks are getting real tingly. I'm sweating. I'm like, it's going to happen. No shit. We pull up. I'm like, well, here it comes. And she's like, oh, it's because you were drunk. I'm like, no. I've shit 4 times prior to this. There's nothing left in me. There's no alcohol in my body. I said, I've had a gallon of water to drink. I'm good to go. I said, it was your driving. And let's be honest, I don't know how old those little Hershey cookies and cream eggs were that Pat put out. Those could have been in the refrigerator since Nana. So, yeah, it's been a few years. I didn't notice anybody else eating them, so maybe that was a mistake I made too. Man, they were good at the time. But came up, and they were good to go. And then
the amount of preservatives that U.S. manufacturers put in those things, the shelf life's probably like 15 years.
I know. It tasted good at the time, but I'm starting to think that maybe it wasn't a good idea. Either way, that was the same day I'd like to thank Tiger Woods plantar fasciitis for fucking me out of $500. So that was cool. Thanks, Tiger. Asshole.
At this point, I don't know why anybody ever bets on Tiger for anything.
Well, it was a 4-leg parlay, and all he had to do was finish top 20. Like that's a feasible thing. Like I didn't pick him to win, especially not when he came out swinging shitty on the first day. Like, this isn't going to be good. So I don't. Yeah.
I think at this point, Tiger's fucked around with his mechanics so much. He's never going to win another major.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I mean, it's still fun to watch him. You know, every once in a while he hits a good shot, and you're like, wow, nostalgia. But yeah, I don't think he's got it in him to do it. Who knows? Golf's a funny game. Oh, what's trending today?
Is Bud Light still trending?
No.
So what's the rumor that Anheuser-Busch has lost like $5 billion in sales in the last 3 weeks since all that happened?
Go woke, go broke. And then I just seen something yesterday that they're like, oh, it all makes sense now. The head of marketing or the head of Anheuser-Busch worked for the CIA 15 years ago or some shit like that. They're like, oh, it's all government conspiracy it's turning the frogs gay or whatever Alex Jones said.
I told people like, so the fact that they put a trans person on there didn't really affect me. Can we all just agree that Bud Lights just tastes like shit, and that's really why we all stopped drinking it, because it does.
Yeah, I agree. Bud Light Lime is about as far as I'll go.
Oh yeah,
just because I like me a little lime.
Throw a little salt in it.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
Sometimes I'll have to drink Bud Light because they don't have the nectar of the gods, and then I've been switching it up. I've been riding the Silver Bullet there, or a PBR if they have it.
What I find even more amusing is all these people that are going, oh well, I'm never going to drink Bud Light again. Meanwhile, Anheuser-Busch owns Busch Light,
85% of beer. Yeah. And it's like now it's gotten past the point of people were upset that they put a trans person on a can. I think it was really bad timing in that you had that school shooting from a trans person. All of the shootings in the past like 6 to 8 months have been from trans, non-gendered LGBTQ people. And I think it was just poor timing that, I'm sure this was in the works months prior to this school shooting. And I think it just kind of soared from there, piggybacked off that. But it's not like beer companies haven't supported gay people in a while. I think it's just the trans thing. But now it's just turned into who can be more offended that you're offended. So I'm offended that you're offended that there's a trans person on there, but that offends you because I'm offended that you're offended. And it's like, why are we just pissing back and forth? If you don't like the beer, move on. If you don't agree with what they did, move on. Who fucking cares?
I like how the CEO or the president of marketing or whoever it was went on made that video about
Yeah.
Bud Light has been in decline for years, and we have to get out of that frat mentality.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Bud Light's still probably what the top two best selling
Top two.
beers in
Yeah.
the U.S.
Yeah. They still sponsor the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're not going anywhere. How much more can you expect to sell? I mean, I think now the beer tastes are shifting towards microbreweries and craft beers a little bit more.
oh
So you
yeah,
have
they're
most of your
more about the
sales.
quality over
Yeah.
the quantity,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's like, listen, you were a frat beer because you were cheap and you could drink 60 of them in a weekend and it was okay. And that's
But
what frat
now
people wanted.
it's $28 a case.
And now I don't want to do that. Now I'll drink something else. Natter
Yeah.
days. Bud Ice. I'll drink Bush Light. I mean, anything other than, I'm trying to save some money here. So by putting a trans person on a can, I don't know why you thought that was going to make more trans people drink Bud Light. What was the point? Like, I don't know. Like, what were you shooting for? What were you hoping to accomplish? You were trying to get away from frat college parties, and you were targeting a demographic that's widely disagreed upon in the United States as like your new, hey, we want chicks with dicks to drink our beer. Like, it's how did you think that was going to go over? Like, couldn't you have just done like a pride can instead? I'm telling you right now, Bush Light decides to do a pride can, I'm still drinking Bush Light. Listen, you can't pray the gay away every day, and I'll still drink the beer. It's fine. It's not going to make me any gayer than I'm already. I mean, what? It's fine. It's only a guys' weekend. But what was she shooting for? This is going to sound a little sexist, but maybe you shouldn't have let the woman who's been out of touch with social everything for the past 10 years decide to make a new marketing scheme.
We cater to a vocal minority is never going to work.
No.
It seems like you're being that social justice warrior and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you're going to cause your company money. Like if she's still got a job at the end of this summer, I'd be shocked.
Look at M&M's. They already flip-flop and put the M&M's back in the commercial. They tried that. They tried
to play it as this was the plan all along. We were just fibbing.
Yeah, okay. We know what you were trying to do. And they came out and they were just basically like, yeah, we fucked up. That's cool. I don't think Bud Light will do that. Or I don't think she'll come out and be like, yeah, no, that was wrong. Because then when you draw the line, why aren't there Indians on cans? Why aren't there black people on cans? Why aren't we celebrating a white guy on a can? You know what I mean? Because then that's what that's not correct cultural appropriation. You're always going to step on somebody's toes because somebody will always get offended. So just leave your fucking beer alone.
Why is it when if I decide, hey, I'm gonna wear a dashiki, and that would be cultural appropriation, but a man wants to become a woman or a woman wants to become a man, where it's not appropriation. Does that make any sense to you?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's convoluted. I mean, what is going on in the world that you have to get upset over a beer can? Like, why aren't you paying attention to anything else that's going on? Right. I just kind of laughed. I like the memes, I like to shit post, and the internet will always stay undefeated. So that was cool. That was a fun little laugh for a while. But there's other pressing things going on in the world that you should rustle your jimmies over. I mean,
it's kind of ironic that at the same time all this is going on, the United States government decides to put the director of the FAA, a new director of FAA, in there, and wants to put inclusion clauses in in a lot of the things that he wants to push through and stuff like that. So
It's odd.
there's always
It's just like,
something, always a misdirection.
yeah, and it's like what's his face? Telexia or whatever his name was, the dude that got arrested for leaking all those classified documents, the Pentagon documents, like a week or so ago. It basically came out and said that the United States is funding a losing war. They're cleaning money. They're donating money. Like it's all in these documents that this was the plan all along. They were backing the wrong horse, yada, yada, yada. They knew this was going to collapse. They knew this was a waste of money, but they did it anyway to whatever. Nobody heard anything about that.
The United States government is one of the top 3 money laundering entities in the world.
Yeah, they do a damn good job at it too.
Yeah, they do. Actually, they do a pretty shitty job at it, but we're just so fucking stupid in general to really notice it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I could probably launder money more successfully without a large portion of anybody knowing and get away with it better than the United States government does.
True. I think it's a scale thing. I think they're doing billions. I just found out today that the United States annually spends $1.8 billion on military spending for Egypt. When was the last time Egypt was prevalent in the United States? What do we have anything to do with Egypt? Why do we care?
Mummies. We got to get their mummies.
See, that's what it was. It's because the aliens are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Frogs are gay. The aliens are coming back. Egypt knows all about it. There's a fucking a workshop inside the pyramids. The Sphinx is a transformer.
You know what's weird? If you do the math, the United States government spends more money annually on other countries' defenses than they do on their own.
It's embarrassing. It makes you wonder why, though. You know, like what deal was struck that we don't know about that basically said, "Hey, we're gonna what did the other countries bail us out of that we have to just pay it forward now for the rest of our lives?" Something had to have happened. Did they cover up the assassination of JFK? Is it knowing about all the UFOs? 9/11 was an inside job. What is it? Like what's the big thing? What was the overall plan of okay, I'll give each nation $1 billion for the next 10 years if you just go ahead and make up Al Qaeda. Put some bearded guy in the hills and we'll bomb the shit out of it. Let us fight over your wall. Let us blame you for letting loose some type of virus or something like that. Like, makes you wonder. Makes you really want to go deep dive and there's somebody there, the George Soroses of the world, that are plucking at strings to make things happen. And it's why? What's his master plan? Where's he getting the plans from? Is space real?
Time is just a contract. You know what? What video I watched over the weekend that I've really gotten into that really made me think. And I brought this up to the wife, and it kind of got me in a little bit of trouble. I said, "Feelings aren't real. Your feelings are a manifestation of your
yes,
previous experiences in your life."
That's true. I believe that, which is why I'm emotionally stunted. I agree. Oh man, I can't wait to go downstairs and tell Maggie that. Nah, I'm just gonna stay up here. I'd like to play video games and have a nice Sunday. She's going out to dinner with the family later. She's like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Nah, not really. You can go." I might start drinking, playing video games. Fuck, it's not even noon yet.
There was another thing I read. Gotta find this couple's name. A couple of a so the one guy, I get this, the wife is a supermodel, and the husband is one of the highest paid international soccer players in the world.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of either.
Yes, it's I just seen this last night. And I seen a meme about it. It was about rappers. Moroccan soccer player's wife finds out. Yeah.
He
Moroccan. What's his name? He outsmarted her. Yeah. Ashraf Hakimi. There's people congratulating him for the first man in the world to win an argument with a woman. I mean,
but
good
yeah,
for him.
so how he got out of it was, I guess, everything he's ever done, every cent he's ever made, like 80% of his yearly salary or monthly income, he has direct deposit into his mother's name, his mother's bank account, and everything that he possesses is under his mother's name. It's it's great. The house
that I laughed about. Yeah.
the house, the cars, everything. So technically, this woman can't get anything.
Nothing, because she tried to take half of like what his earrings were worth.
Yeah.
Only to find out that even his earrings were in his mom's name.
Yeah.
Good
he
for
said
that guy, man.
Everything that he purchases, he asks his mom to buy for him. So everything was like basically gifted from the mother.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So smart.
So smart. Like, good for
this
him.
guy. This guy's my hero.
Yeah, like that's fantastic. Yeah. He did it well. I mean, that's smart. I don't think there's any way around that. I'm sure she'll find a way.
I don't know. Like if it was the U.S., she would probably find a way. But in most of those other countries, there ain't no way.
They stick with them.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Somebody got shot dead on live TV? What? Shot dead on live TV in India. What? I gotta watch it now. Oh! Damn.
Headshot?
Yep. Damn. This guy's being escorted by police for a medical checkup. And one of the guys was posing as a journalist. Pulled a gun and shot him. Whew. God damn. That's wild. They don't give a shit over there. Woo! Coachella.
Hey, so the Warner Media announced that they're planning on running a 10-year plan for the Harry Potter series that they want to do.
I was just reading that this morning. Each season is going to be a book.
Yep.
Or something like that. And J.K. Rowling is involved.
Yep.
I can't wait for the outlash. I was the backlash to that, and
yeah, it's already started.
It's because didn't she say something? She was against gays or something like that.
No, she's not, and so here's what gets convoluted. She doesn't believe trans people should have their own set of rights that infringe upon, biologically born genders. And that's pretty much all she said. She said she doesn't have anything against trans people, doesn't have anything. She has trans friends. She just doesn't think that their rights should infringe on, the biological gender's rights.
I agree with that. I stand basically with you, J.K. Rowling. Yeah.
And then she got painted as a disgusting human being.
Yeah.
So I don't. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. I do like the fact that they're going to do that. There's a lot of things. I'm a fan of the books and the movies, but there's a lot of stuff that the movies kind of left out in some of the books that were pretty pivotal. So, the series is going to allow them to go more in depth.
Is it going to be hard to accept new characters, new actors portraying the same characters?
I don't think so. I think if they tried to do a remake in the movies, yes. But since they're expanding the story a little bit with the series, it's like, if they tried to do a remake of Star Wars, like a true remake of the first 3 Star Wars, I think fans would become a bit irate. But if they decided, hey, we're going to make A New Hope,
like expanding on A New Hope.
And they decide to make a series out of the first 3 Star Wars movies, I think they would be more accepted because they're going to expand upon the story instead of just making a new one. Like Warner Brothers also announced that they want to redo the original Lord of the Rings movies. That's going to have some fallout, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's difficult. Why?
I don't know. Like if they wanted to do a series based on it, I think it would be more widely accepted.
Well, Amazon Prime tried that and didn't go over too well. Did you finish the series?
No, it's like reading a Sherlock Holmes story. Like it's very, very
hard,
rough and wordy, and
that's
slow. Like you expect. I got 4 episodes in. You expect the series to kind of pick up a little bit. It's just slow.
Yeah. I never read the books, so I can't speak for how the action moved in the books, but I'd assume it's probably not as slow as the TV show.
No, and the books, the books are they read pretty well.
Oh,
it's just the
it's Hollywood adaptation just fucked it all up.
Yep,
that's great. Cheers to you, Hollywood.
Real American hero. So for Brandon Parks, I am Josh Tenney. This was the Guys Weekend Podcast. Good night.
The beer's turning people gay.